All right, all systems go. Everything's ready. I'm about to queue up that bed. Let's do it.
That bed.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, man. That's right. That's right.
I like that.
That's right.
And it's the Mexico lip. I don't know where I was going with that.
Oh, that's from Guatemala.
No, it's from Mexico.
No, marimba music is from Guatemala.
Oh yes, I know that.
And it's not your
They
iPhone.
listen to that. But they listen to that. It's like their iPhone ringtone.
Yeah.
I would say it's not your
Everybody,
iPhone.
welcome, all in all, welcome. The whole crew is in the house. I'm Baby Moy, as usual, representing the ENT Hooligans. I forgot to affect. It's not what I was aiming for. Man!
Whoops.
Darn it.
That's what I get for not paying attention to my mixer.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah,
You're fired.
We're a little rusty right now, folks.
Guns! That's what I was aiming for.
Yeah, diablo.
A little 5 seconds too late, my friend.
Before we get the festivities underway,
Yes.
I just want to address, because I've been asked several times already, why, when people view some of our videos, they can't see my beautiful face. So,
You have been asked that?
So, Mom, if you're listening, the reason is this. Anteriormente hacíamos nuestros programas en Skype, en cual yo tenía acceso al feature de videos. We used to do our programs via Skype, in which I had access to videos.
Yes.
Y entonces nos movimos hacia otro programa que se llama Team Talk. Now we're using another platform other than Skype. It's called Team Talk. Y nos da la opción de mejor audio. It gives us an option of having better audio than what we used to get on Skype. Pero nos elimina la posibilidad de poder transmitir via video.
Video.
It kind of minimizes or just eliminates our possibility of using video for now. So I just wanted to address that real quick and let you guys know what the lowdown was in regards to our video and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So,
Now, granted.
We will
Now,
keep you guys
granted.
posted on that. Yeah.
Yes, now granted, he is not the face of ENT Hooligans. We all are.
I'm the face that runs the place. All right.
Uh-oh, copyright infringement.
Is the house that I built.
Uh-oh, copyright infringement. Copyright.
What? Place that runs the face. Y'all got a problem with that? Copyright infringement? I'll say it again. The place that runs the face.
What do you think?
Copyright that.
There you go.
How did you guys like my AJ Styles impression?
And I reversed it.
Well, in terms of our friend John, he's got the bass that runs the place.
Yeah.
You know it's all about that bass. About that bass. No trouble. It's all about that bass. About that bass. No trouble.
Yeah.
It's all about that bass.
Okay.
Shout out to the homie.
Hey,
there you go.
You know what?
And that song.
You know what? Listen,
I'll be quiet.
Megan Trainor lied. It's not all about the bass, okay?
He's really good live.
Yeah.
He's really good.
It is not all about the bass, okay? You can't have bass without treble, all right? You can't have treble without bass. You need them both.
That's right. That's right.
I really like this music.
I
This
do
is
too.
dope. It reminds me of a video game.
No, like
what
the
we have-
islands, you know.
So
like
what we have on tap for you guys.
And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to thumbs up, subscribe, like,
thank
comment, share. Tell a friend.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what we have on tap for you guys today is fighter safety.
Yes, sir.
And I'm talking about the UFC's fighter safety, or lack thereof. We're going to be discussing why two of my colleagues here prefer New Japan over WWE. Well, I do too, so I guess three of us. And
yes.
We're also going to be, I guess, discussing the possibility of Mayweather fighting in the octagon.
Oh God, we have to discuss that.
Oh boy, we have to discuss that.
Yes.
That's what he thinks about it.
Wow.
That's what I think of that. I think it's all a bunch of hot air.
Yeah, that's right.
We've already voted it.
And he's gonna get his butt kicked. So there you go. I call it selling out, but that's just my opinion.
Let's start with the UFC first, folks.
Go ahead.
Get that out of the way.
Go ahead, sir.
Get that.
So a couple days ago, me and Ness were talking about Michael Bisping, whom you guys know got defeated by George St. Pierre a couple of months ago.
Yes.
The beginning of November, if memory serves me correct. I believe it was November 4th, was it?
The 4th, correct.
Yes.
The 4th, yes.
Yes.
And a lot of us saw how that fight progressed, and I mean,
how it ended.
Especially how it ended. You
Great
know,
fight.
I mean, Bisping got bruised up, caught up, and eventually submitted. So, what normally happens when a fighter gets defeated in that sort of fashion, they give them what the UFC calls a medical suspension, in which you're not eligible to fight anywhere between 2 weeks to a month.
Correct.
After that, you're eligible, but only from what I understood, and keep that word in mind, folks, from what I understood, at this given point, you were only eligible to train, not partake in any sort of fight. You know, the only exception would be if you received a minimum amount of damage, or no damage at all.
If you didn't take too much damage in your fight, then yes, they will allow you to fight in a short turnaround.
Correct. So we look at the outcome of this fight, and we fast forward. What was it? A week or two later?
About a week and a half, 2 weeks later.
And Bisping is fighting again.
Now, mind you.
Now take over from here. Now. Yeah, go ahead.
He fought again, but he didn't just fight again. He fought again in China. So we're talking about
jet lag.
Very short jet lag on top of that. On top of the damage that he had taken in this Bisping fight, in this GSP fight.
Correct.
Wow.
He took this fight in China. He was fighting Kelvin Gastelum, who was supposed to fight Anderson Silva in the China event. Bisping jumped in to agree to take this fight. Now, the UFC should have stepped in and should have not have allowed Bisping to turn around and take the fight. As a result of Bisping taking this fight, he was knocked out by Kelvin Gastelum in this fight. Keep in mind, Bisping had nothing to lose in this, nothing to gain in this fight.
Nothing to lose and nothing to prove.
The fight made no sense for him at all, because it wasn't going to propel him back into the title picture. It just made no sense for him at all. And from not only that, from a health standpoint, it put him at risk.
Well, if anything, it damages him more than what it helped him out. I mean, both from a physical and from a ranking standpoint, too.
Yeah. There was no reason for him to take that fight. And the UFC should have protected their fighter better.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to protect these fighters from themselves because, Bisping agreed to take the fight. Of course. He's a fighter. That's what fighters do.
Yeah, that's what. Well, that's what any athlete does, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but as we specifically talk about the fight game, this is what fighters do. You know, they're going to take it. You offer them a fight, they're going to take it. Whether even if they're on one leg, they're going to take it. I mean, we've seen this with Donald Cerrone, who's a prime example of this.
Because the mentality is what? Again, I'm a fighter, I want to go out there and fight. And
go out there
that's what I'm going to put forward first and foremost before anything else, even my own health. I'm a fighter, and you wave a fight in front of my face, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Unless you're Vitor Belfort.
Well, that's a whole other story. But this is why you have to protect fighters from themselves sometimes, and this is a situation where the UFC needed to protect Bisping from himself, and they should have, and they didn't.
Now, those are all great points that we've just made, but I also just a couple of seconds ago mentioned Vitor Belfort.
Yes.
And this raises a question of, and keeping with the topic of fighter safety, is part of fighter safety, does that also include perhaps telling a fighter when enough is enough? In other words, letting them know, hey man, listen, I don't mean to bring it down or anything, but I think you've kind of reached your limit here. It's kind of the end for you here. It's best for you to resign.
Yeah, look, because at the end of the day, you are investing in these fighters. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, you're business partners at the end of the day. And sometimes you got to know when to pull your fighter aside and go, hey, listen, man, I think this is it for you. I know Dana White doesn't like to tell people when they should retire. But it's not even about telling them when they should. It's about suggesting to them, hey,
but it goes,
man.
Right, exactly. Because what we need to understand is that some things go beyond the sport. Some things go beyond fighting itself. There's a thing called life.
Yeah. There's a thing called life, exactly.
Because there is life after
That's what
fighting.
it's about.
There is life after fighting. I mean, these guys are still old enough to live a life after fighting.
But this is the problem here, bro. This is what ends up happening, guys. See, you have it embedded in your mind after a while, and this goes for a lot of athletes, not just people in the fight game. A lot of athletes have this conception of, hey, outside of my sport, there's nothing else that I can do.
Yeah.
And this was illustrated in a movie, The Wrestler, remember?
That's because they've... Yes, that's correct. And the reason that is because these guys have worked all their lives at this. This is all they've done. This is all they know. They've worked to strive to get to the pinnacle of their profession, whatever sport it may be, and they don't know anything else, unfortunately.
Yeah, so psychologically, you're thinking to yourself, man, I fit nowhere else in this world but over here. That's what ultimately ends up happening. No pun there.
But as it pertains to Michael Bisping, this doesn't necessarily apply to him because he can be a Fox analyst now. He has been, so he has that to fall back on. So there was no reason for him to even take this fight at all.
Exactly.
There was nothing for him to. There was no reason at all. It made no sense at all. First of all, he's fighting Kelvin Gastelum, who's an up and comer on the rise. He knocked out Vitor Belfort previously to this fight. He was about to fight Anderson Silva. He might have won that fight. So either way, Kelvin Gastelum had everything to gain here. He was the one who had everything to gain here.
Absolutely.
Bisping, nothing at all. He had nothing
Bisping
to gain
had
here.
nothing to gain and really a lot to lose. Like I mentioned, down in the rankings and his well-being.
Yeah.
Oh. He's a human being first and foremost.
Of course.
All these athletes are. They're human beings first and foremost. And sometimes
Not to mention too, Bisping, he has a wife and kids at home too to take care of. So he's got to. That's another thing. He's a human being. He's a father. He's a husband. Same thing with a lot of these other athletes as well. Like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's priorities there set in motion, and they know it. But again, it's so hard to break out of this psyche of, man, I'm a fighter first before everything else. I'm a fighter. That's what you think. You know, that's what you think when you've done something for so long.
For so long. Yeah. You don't know how to do anything else after that, or how to transition.
Exactly.
From that to something
else. It's kind of like you programmed your brain, you know, to think that. Like, you know, this is what I ultimately want.
Right.
So this is what I'm achieving, you know. And it's just not, you know, it's not just sports figures that this happens to.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Even people who are involved in the movie scenes, you know, people involved in the music industry, it's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Even regular people, you know?
That's
but
true.
It's more pronounced in the entertainment industry.
But I think to put it in your terms, regular people, there's more flexibility there. You know, it's easier to move from one place to another when it comes to the regular folk, as opposed to people who have been doing something since. You gotta realize this. A lot of these athletes started when they were children. You know what I'm saying? So you start from there. I mean, as a child, even as a baby, they always say your brain is a sponge. So really what you're taught from the time that you're learning your craft as a child, that sticks with you. And you become that in essence.
That goes to the point I made earlier. You know, these guys have been doing this all their lives. They've been working to get to the pinnacle of their profession all their lives, from children all the way up.
You know, Balfour at 19 was already considered pro.
Yeah, and at that time he was considered a phenom, a champion hit. You know.
Yeah. And became that at 19. Champion, that is.
Was he a champion at that time?
Yes.
That was in Pride, right?
Yes.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so, I mean, outside of that,
he fought at heavyweight at one point in his career. If I'm not mistaken.
believe you're right. I believe you're right. But I mean, in a way, it's good that these people have that drive, that they wanna invest time in being the best at what they do, but at the same time it can also be very detrimental to them.
Yeah, because you know, it's a very short window in their particular profession. You know, it's not like a regular profession that you know, where you could be at it for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's not like that job that you know, where you can be 60-some years old and still be working, you know, at an office somewhere or even at a factory.
Yeah.
You know, this just doesn't work that way.
No.
So
these professions they're higher risk, higher reward in a sense, you know.
Anybody else got anything to contribute to this, or what's up? Austin? Crystal, Austin? Going once, going twice?
Let's see. Well, and there's something else for you. Something else I was thinking about. If somebody is a good leader or whatever, they would have no problem pulling the person aside if they legitimately cared about people, you know, they'd be like, listen, you know, you shouldn't go for this fight because of what happened. You know, and that's something I was just thinking.
Of course.
Well, let's take it from a personal level to a business level here. If you're a great businessman, you got to make that decision for them and be like, listen, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, because if something happens to them in the ring, they're going to be held responsible.
If you don't, then what could start essentially happening too is people are going to view you as a pushover. Hey, you know what? I could do whatever I want, and this guy won't tell me anything. Connor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole different story.
That's a different story.
But yeah, that's something I was thinking about, though.
But as a business, if you're running as a businessman, you can't allow your fight. I mean, you got to protect the fighters from themselves. not just that, not just for their sake, but also for your sake, to cover yourself legally as well.
Yeah, because what if something does happen? What if something did happen out there to Bisping? Then who is it on?
Exactly.
Whose hands does it fall
on? Then it's on Dana White, basically, and the UFC.
Dana White and the UFC. And people could argue, well, Bisping decided to take the fight. Well, yeah, he's a fighter.
Yeah, but there's a reason why there's higher ups.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a reason why there's supposed to be people there who steer the ship.
Exactly. That's the whole point I was getting at. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
You got to protect the fighters from themselves. The athletes, sometimes you have to protect them from themselves, because if you leave it up to them, they're going to want to. They're going to get out there. They're not going to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They're going to want to fight. They're going to want to play. They're going to want to, that's the competitor in them. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they're ingrained to do. That's what's ingrained into them.
You don't let the inmates run the asylum.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, Bob McNair, that's the actual saying, since you botched it before. Anyway.
Do not let them run the asylum.
Yep.
Fighters want to fight. That's what they do. So you have to protect them from themselves sometimes.
Excuse
me. You don't even have to do it because you don't even have to do it because you care about them. You should do it to cover your own behind legally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
There's no demonetized rule for burping, is there?
No.
No,
not the more.
That's just.
I don't think
that's
so.
just applicable for
but that was
cussing
very,
and
but
things
that
of
was
that
very,
nature, right?
But that was very polite of you.
That's our censor button.
There you go. Our censor button is a burp.
Our censor button. Wow.
That's awesome.
Moving on.
That's funny. Yeah.
This is random, but this music is actually making me think of walking to an old-fashioned candy store in the summertime and getting either a snow cone or a candy.
It makes me think of like a video game for some reason.
Like a raspa.
Candy.
So the question is, will he or will he not? I'm banking on he won't. I'm banking on it's all a bunch of hot air. It's all a bunch of talk. It's all a publicity stunt. It's all just to get people talking. It's all just to get us talking. And any other podcaster out there talking, he will not be stepping into the octagon. I want to believe that he is smart enough to realize that he is out of his element. I want to believe that he's smart enough to realize that if he goes into the octagon, he will get his whooped.
Guys, we're talking about Mayweather now.
Saw what I did there?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen.
There is no. We've had this. It's not even a debate. We have.
There's nothing to debate.
We have spoken about the facts ad nauseum. Mayweather is going to school McGregor in a boxing ring, and
vice versa.
Will school Mayweather in the octagon. Yeah. There is no debating that. That is undisputed fact. I mean, it is what it is. Now there's talks about there's even more to make this
fight deal, right? Is he talking?
Talking a 4-fight deal. That's not gonna happen. Okay, that's not gonna happen.
What?
Yeah, he's looking to sign a 4-fight deal with the UFC.
Oh,
4-fight, $1 billion deal. 200.
Is this so that way he won't have to pay taxes?
Well, I mean, hey, when you're a billionaire, you can afford to not pay taxes.
Pretty much.
That's what
Is he going broke? That's what I mean.
Please.
He's not going broke?
Not happening.
No.
Not happening.
That's a bunch of crap too. He's not going.
I don't buy into that. I do not buy into
that.
The
guy's damn near a billionaire himself. He's not going broke.
Listen, the guy uses 50s to wipe himself. All right. Nothing.
And he's friends with Trump, so
the guy's a good salesman.
Yeah.
That he is. Yes, he
he's
really
a good salesman.
is.
Yeah, I think that's a one-sided friendship, by the way. Anyway.
It is. Yes.
He is a good salesman, though. I'll give him that.
He could sell you a really, really bad car.
He's over here getting people all hyped up, thinking he's gonna step into the octagon for a 4-fight deal. Get the hell out of here! That's not gonna happen.
Hey, you know what's funny?
And did you see the quote-unquote sessions that he had in the octagon?
Oh,
he had sessions.
Yeah.
There's videos that are leaked out.
Some crap. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, supposedly he's practicing and what have you. I ain't buying into that crap.
I don't care how much he practices. The man is 41 years old right now, and he steps into the octagon. He's going to suffer the same fate as CM Punk.
You ready for the argument? I like CM Punk. He has a boxing experience. Man, big up to you, JD.
JD.
Let me refer to you back to James Toney versus Randy Couture at UFC 218 or 118. Excuse me.
You know, that's
boxer versus mixed martial artist.
Yeah. If people are smart enough to know, listen, the best form of fighting that you can have under your belt if you're entering any MMA organization is wrestling. I'm not talking CM Punk. I'm talking Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley.
Kurt Angle,
wrestling.
Bobby Lashley.
And what's his face?
Amateur wrestling.
What's his name? The All-American Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
Jack Swagger.
Yeah, those guys, yes, give him a chance all day, any day. He signed with Bellator.
Oh wow, really?
When is he making his debut?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I am under the impression that he's still training, which smart for him, even though he's got the wrestling down. But, I'm interested. I'm interested in wanting to see what he's made out of.
But but to make this whole Mayweather sideshow even more of a sideshow, there's rumors that his first fight is going to be against CM Punk.
Yeah, speaking of CM Punk, right?
Speaking
of great.
Hold on a second. Yeah! Alright, everybody, I want everybody listening. I want everybody listening and watching us right now. I want you to get up to this and just groove a little bit. I'll give you about 30 seconds to groove.
No, you can't give us 30 seconds. You gotta give us a minute.
Yeah, man. Bada. Yeah, buddy. That's how you do it. Hey. A breakdown, huh?
I'm not done yet.
All right.
By the way, real quick, I'd like to wish everybody out there a happy belated Aphrodisiac Day. I mean, Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Moving on.
For those of you who follow the SoundCloud, I hope you enjoyed that song that I dropped. Compliments of Ness and myself.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Good stuff.
And don't forget about the onion rings.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah.
The onion rings, yes.
The onion rings.
Gotta have it.
Compliments of Ness and Moy over there in the onion rings.
That's right.
The onion rings.
So
Stay tuned. There's more to come. Stay tuned.
Enough entertaining.
That's what your band should be called.
Enough entertaining the BS. Gonna move on to something that very much. What's the word I'm looking for here? Very much contents the hearts of Austin and Crystal over here.
Yes.
Yes.
So
yeah, man.
It is worth it.
why,
Pro wrestling.
in your
Oh, it is worth it.
in your belief, why and what makes NJPW better than WWE?
Well, for me, is they don't get in the way. They let people do what they need to do. They let people wrestle, you know? They just know how to put on a heck of a show, man. I mean, listen, they got us waking up at 3 in the morning, Eastern time, or whatever it is, to watch their shows. You know, you're at church like, I want to sleep in. Me, I'm like, no, I want to watch the New Japan. And like the quality of the shows as well. You know, like, it's just, every show's been very, very, very good. Even the first match, you're like, oh, that was the first match. You know?
And the presentation of the
presentation
event in itself,
yes.
It's treated like an actual... Well, it is an event, but, you know, for those of you who don't understand the psychology of wrestling and how a show runs, you know, to put it in terms that that they can understand, it is ran and treated like a legitimate show, which, again, it is. You know, they run down the fight card at the beginning of every single event.
It's like we've mentioned. It's like we've mentioned on previous podcasts. Wrestling everywhere else around the world is treated like an actual sport.
Yeah.
Correct. You know, and
and that's exactly what you see in New Japan Pro Wrestling and everywhere else around the world.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of happy that what Austin mentioned first was the fact that, well, they let their wrestlers go out there and perform. They don't hold them back.
Yes.
Which is what we see a lot of in WWE, unless you're fighting in the NXT brand, which is basically Triple H's baby. So.
Yeah.
But if you're under Vince McMahon's hand, there's a lot of restrictions. And honestly, as a lot of people have mentioned, this whole PG thing is just so that they could be in with corporate and all that sort of stuff, you know. Because I want to believe that if it were entirely up to Vince McMahon and other people who run that company, they necessarily would be still running an Attitude Era-esque type of show. Because let's not forget at what time period WWE became PG. It was after the Chris Benoit thing, but more so after McMahon, Linda McMahon, that is.
Linda McMahon ran for Senator of Connecticut.
There you go, Senator.
Senator, yes. That's what started the whole thing.
When WWE just changed, and in a lot of ways for the worse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to New Japan, one thing that I also notice is every champion is treated with respect, and every championship is treated with respect. Go ahead, Ness.
Yeah.
As well they should. Yeah. And the thing with Linda McMahon running for office, you know, obviously she caught a lot of heat from the WWE marks because of that. Which I found to be ridiculous. But, you know, that's neither here nor there.
Well, yeah, in large part due to the fact of what WWE used to be and what they used to represent.
Right.
So there was the backlash of that, which she had to contend with, and WWE, obviously taking notice to this, decided, hey, let's become corporate. You know, so.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, back to NJPW, one thing, again, like I had mentioned, the treatment of the titles. Every single title feels and is important. Even the tag team division, the tag team scene in itself. I mean, you want to talk legitimate tag team wrestling, psychology 101, cutting the ring in half, you know, double team maneuvers, preventing one of the opposing team's members from breaking up the pin, things like that. You know, it's a very new school meets old school type of playground. And
Yeah.
I like it. I like what they
For
do.
sure.
And it's just the thing that die-hard wrestling fans have been yearning for since the PG era poisoned WWE and Hulk Hogan poisoned TNA.
That was just bad.
Oh, you want to talk about
Do you
literally
realize how
killing
much potential
TNA
TNA had?
Yes, they had. My God, they had potential. I mean, they really had a legitimate shot to be a threat to WWE.
If you guys want to know the state of TNA, I'm gonna sum it up with this: life support. I mean, WWE's got Jeremy Borash now.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
You know, Jeremy Borash, for what he was to TNA, listen, a lot of the times we look at these guys like Jeremy Borash and Renee Young and anyone who had a role of being a backstage interviewer or ring announcer. A lot of times we look at these people and say, oh, that's all they do, without realizing really how important their roles are and how significant they are to a show, which they are.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of times these wrestlers aren't going to cut promos on their own. They need that mouthpiece beside them to ask them questions. You know, hey, listen, you're going into this match tonight. What are your thoughts on your opponent? You know, or your opponent said this, that, and the third, or I don't know if you heard what your opponent had said, but I'm going to run the clip for you, and if you may, can you give us a moment of your time to give me and the rest of you and audience out there your thoughts?
Well, Mean Gene.
Wrestlers feed off of that, guys. You know, it's just how it works. And I think losing a guy like Jeremy Borash is, it's huge. I mean, listen.
Wow.
Maybe it's not as applicable in this realm, but I've always said it would be very strange the day that UFC no longer has Joe Rogan. You know? Who better? Who better? But,
Yep, because that is the voice of UFC.
Yeah, but sticking with wrestling, I think another thing that really puts NJPW on the map is the fact that they are willing to have working relationships with other companies, in this case, Ring of Honor. It becomes a help me, help you, help me type of an environment. And I think because of their working relationship, then Ring of Honor has been catapulted as well to having, you know, if not equal, perhaps almost the same level of success that New Japan has been receiving lately.
Yeah, because with the help of New Japan, Ring of Honor has been introduced to the mainstream audience, and Ring of Honor has essentially, in return, introduced the American audience to New Japan.
Correct. You know, and every month, I mean, the number of subscriptions to NJPW World just increases by the numbers, and I mean, uh-oh. Oh my.
That's interesting.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
Interesting. That's right. That's
That
right.
reminded me of that scene in SpongeBob SquarePants where he's there and he's like, Da 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 da.
Now, Crystal, you've been quiet. I thought you'd have more to contribute to this whole New Japan thing.
I was waiting for Austin to finish. Sir?
Oh.
Yes.
Well.
That's all it was. I was waiting very politely for Austin to finish. So, here's my take on NJPW. Kurt Angle says this. We tell our stories in the ring, right?
Yes, that's been the theme as of late.
Wrong. New Japan Pro Wrestling tells stories in the ring. You know exactly how that wrestler is feeling and what that wrestler is about and all this stuff due to his performance in the ring.
That's very true. Now,
so that means you don't. That means you don't have to. That means you don't have to ask him.
Hold that thought for a moment, Ness. I want to ask you a question personally. For how long, since we've known, since we both understood, you know, when you were watching at the time, since we both understood, oh, I'm a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan,
right?
And now, even though you're out of the loop. But for how long have I been telling you, bro, it's all about in-ring, it's all about psychology, it's all about the story in the ring?
Well, you've been saying that for as long as I've known you.
I've been watching wrestling since I was 4, folks. Alright? And I've seen a lot of the troubles that companies go through. I've seen a lot of the coming out of the fire and ashes, if you may. I've witnessed victories. I've witnessed downfalls of companies. So most times, when I say something in regards to wrestling or anything else that I've been watching for a very long time, take it at face value. You know, when I talk about wrestling, take it at face value. When I talk about football, when Ness talks about football, take it at face value. We know what we're talking about. Ring psychology.
Yeah.
Telling stories in the ring, as Crystal mentioned. I want to ask all you guys this. Is it a coincidence? Or is it just something that was destined to happen? The fact that now WWE arenas are filled with core fans as opposed to casuals.
No, that was destined to happen.
That was destined to happen. I agree.
Yeah. I think it was too, honestly.
You know, you think about, you know, as you mentioned earlier, Mo, I am a former wrestling fan. And obviously, you know, we come from a generation where there wasn't all this access at our fingertips. And, you know, people like me, we outgrew it, or because it outgrew us, or it didn't actually. No, we outgrew it, and we moved on. Now, you look at this generation now, where with all this internet access, and now they have the option of NJPW, Ring of Honor. Now they've outgrown. Now that the generation, the generation that was into the PG era with Cena as their superhero, they've gotten older. They've outgrown it, and they've moved on. There's no one left now but the core fans.
Yep.
You know, us who were watching since the days of Randy Savage and Hogan and Piper and the Warrior and all those guys. You know, went through the New Generation era with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Went through the Monday Night Wars with WCW and WWF at the time. You know, Nitro versus Raw. You know, the cruiserweight bouts that WCW used to feature. You know, WWE imitating ECW's hardcore matches and so on and so forth. I've seen all of it. All of it. And one thing that I've always understood is stories are told in the ring. Nothing wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with what the Attitude Era did. I love the Attitude Era because it was different. I love the Attitude Era because it presented something that no one ever seen before in terms of wrestling. But I also loved it because in spite of how soap opera-ish it was, the theme was still, you tell your story in the ring and you center your story around the belt. And if you're not in the title picture, eventually, your story, all paths lead to a specific title. Again,
Correct.
all paths lead to a specific title. What do we have with New Japan? Tournaments. Tournaments for various titles. Tag team tournaments. Junior heavyweight tournaments. Heavyweight tournaments. Tournaments for every title you could imagine. It's there. And what's the focal point? The belt. What's everybody's ambition? I want to become champion of set division.
Yep.
That's the focus.
Yep.
Crystal, you
That's
were
the focus,
making a point.
And that should be the focus. The belt should be the focus. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Now, let's move on to promos and backstage. New Japan, we don't see backstage what's going on behind the scenes. Like, you walk into the manager's office and you're talking to so-and-so, and so-and-so walks in.
Right.
We don't see any of that. We see a short video package of what's already happened. And when I mean short. Maybe 5 minutes pops.
Not even.
Summarizing everything. No.
Yeah, not even.
Summarizing everything that happened. And then we see the event. Now, this doesn't happen with every match.
No, there's no video package in between every other match. There's just a video package to start off the pay-per-view and a video package before the co and main event. That's it. Again, it's treated legit.
I messed up.
Oh no!
I thought my phone messed up on... Anyway.
Okay, I think we're back now.
Are we on?
That was...
Yeah.
I think we're on.
Okay,
That
there we go.
was
Well, it
weird.
dropped out for a second, that's all.
It just dropped out.
Oh,
So-
there we go. We're back.
We were saying
it's treated legitimately. You know, the only time
Yes.
we run video packages is before the show begins, before co and main event.
right.
Yeah.
Not like
Yeah.
WWE where it's everything in between is a video package.
Ugh.
This goes back to what I said before.
Yeah.
You know, wrestling is treated like an actual sport, and everywhere else around
Yeah.
the world. I mean, and basically, it's just like like our sports here in football. You only see like halftime performances during the Thanksgiving game, and during the Super Bowl, and the conference title games.
Exactly.
Now, time restrictions. Raw is 4 hours.
Raw is 3 hours.
3. Sorry, 3. NJPW is 4 with no commercials,
Sometimes 5.
nothing. Sometimes 5.
But it doesn't feel like it, though.
But it is straight up wrestling. There is no in between.
Right, you're
There's none of that
you're not
crap.
sitting there. You're not sitting there an hour and 50 minutes or 2 hours and 3 hours in saying, "Oh man, when is this gonna end?" No, you're over there going, "Yo, what's the next match gonna be like?"
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Exactly.
And after
You really
everything's
are.
done, you're like, "Wow, what's gonna happen
What?
next?"
Yeah,
You're like, what the
and
heck?
you're like, what did I just see? Like, what is that? I always, in a New Japan event, I always, after everything ends, I always think to myself, what did I just see? Did Jericho really have a match with Omega? Did that really happen?
Or recently, Cody and Omega.
And Cody and Omega?
And Omega losing his title. Or recently, the match that Sonata had with Sasuke Okada.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Is this really happening? Is Rey Mysterio really going to go in on the 25th of March?
By the way, let me make one thing clear. Mysterio looks freaking phenomenal. Holy crap, what has he been doing?
I don't know, but is he really gonna do that? I mean, he really challenged, like...
Yeah, he's penciled in.
Wow. I couldn't believe it when I first saw it. And it was a very short video.
Yeah, which I think is so clever to keep these videos of returning people, keep the video short, so that way you keep the viewer invested and you keep them wondering, what was that?
Less is more. You know what I'm saying? Less is more.
Yeah.
I mean...
It is. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
They get it. They understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna ask Ness. I'm gonna ask all you guys. But I say Ness because, out of all of us, he's the one that doesn't necessarily watch wrestling like that. Which is why I want his perspective. When was the last time that you've seen me so invested into a wrestling company?
It's been a long time. I can't remember specifically, but it's been a long time.
It has.
It's been a long time.
From the years that I've known you, this is my first time seeing it.
Yeah, same here.
Now, this is the thing. I also like the fact that they have different factions.
Yes! I love the factions. The factions are awesome.
There's Chaos. There's LIJ. Bullet Club. So on and so forth. And...
Exactly.
The way that they present these teams, one thing you won't see very much of is other faction members interfering in matches for the sake of pulling their colleague out of trouble.
Correct.
You won't see much of that. Or you won't see it at all.
No.
There'll be Bullet Club members outside the ring, cheering their teammates on and stuff of that nature, but they're not interfering in the match.
Right. It's like an MMA fight. You got guys in their respective corners, but nobody's jumping into the cage to help out their fighter.
Right. It is an environment of, hey, let's let you guys do the work, because one thing that New Japan understands is if you two, or you four, if it's a tag team match, or a tornado rules type of match, basically, if you guys are the ones partaking in this match, then it starts with you guys, and it ends with you guys. No more, no less.
Exactly.
And another thing that I've noticed, the injury rate in New Japan is far less.
Yes. It really is.
Let's take into accountability the grueling schedule of the G1 tournament.
Climax.
It's basically a month plus. No days off. A month plus of match after match after match after match.
Mm-hmm.
Day after day after
Exactly.
day after day after day.
And those
You know
are,
how many
that's
injuries were
basically,
reported at the end of that G1, the G1 tournament?
Yeah, I was just about to tell you, that's basically a tournament, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
don't remember, but
0.
Yes, it is 0.
Do you know how many injuries there are in terms of the WWE roster currently?
How many?
Plenty.
wow, that's messed up.
When you have these guys in there performing under the mindset of, oh, I can't get hurt, I can't get hurt, I gotta be careful, I gotta be careful. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna get hurt.
Because you're not letting them perform naturally.
Right.
Exactly.
And that essentially is what puts you at higher risk for injury than performing naturally.
Because
Yeah.
choreographed or not, you know, even though in wrestling outcomes are already predetermined, the fact is this. If you've been going to wrestling school, if you've been training all your life to be a wrestler, no matter how many do's and don'ts you have in front of you, your mind will still tell you, I'll go for the drop kick even though they told me not to.
Yeah, it becomes instinct at that point. It's like, okay,
Because it's a psychological thing, right?
And people mess up, and this is where the problem is. Because okay, let's say Ness and I or Austin and I are in a match. I would say you, Crystal, but I don't know how people would feel about that. Well, let's say we're in a match.
Yeah.
You're saying women can't wrestle?
We're not in the attitude era anymore. We're
not in the
PG
attitude
era.
era.
We can't have that no more.
But let's say we're in a wrestling match. And let's say I'm of the mindset of, you know what, I'm going to follow the do's and don'ts. Okay? So I'm following the do's and don'ts. But let's say Ness... let's say Ness comes into this match and he's of the mindset... You know, the same mindset. But let's say he gets carried away. And he lets natural instinct take over. But I'm not. If at that moment we're not in sync with each other... If we're not clicking,
somebody's going to get
one
hurt.
of us is getting hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Exactly.
what happens.
And then it'll be
That's
fire
what
the
happens,
person that
folks.
hurt you.
Uh-huh.
Like WWE with Sasha Banks and Paige.
WWE
like
never
WWE
said
should
that
have-
about
or like-
Sasha.
or like
That was
WWE
fans
should-
going
or-
stupid.
No. Exactly.
Or like WWE should have done with Brock Lesnar after his fight with Randy Orton. Anyway, that's just
Oh, and
Right.
Morrow said Brock Lesnar is hitting him harder than this track.
Morrow's such an idiot, I swear.
Wow.
An idiot, I swear.
I was like,
I remember the time when Apollo, when Dolph Ziggler literally, right, grabs him, right, and literally pushes him down onto a chair. Now, mind you, basically in a way in which Cruz straddled the chair on his way down. So just imagine the pain.
Oy.
ow.
And Morrow goes, "Mamma mia! He just scrambled his eggs!"
Oh, yeah!
Right.
What?
I'm like,
Yo,
You moron!
I wish Morrow was in the UFC, man. Look, Bellator is being too greedy now. They got Mike Goldberg and Mauro Ranallo. Come on, they don't need both of those guys. Come on, guys.
hey,
come on.
good for them though, bro. I mean, we need a different flavor than UFC here.
Yeah, we do.
We really
too much-
do.
There's too much buffoonery going on over there.
She's telling me. But Crystal, any other thoughts in terms of NJPW, Austin?
Yes.
Anything, guys?
Just one. Commentating on NJPW is really awesome. It's
Yeah.
great.
Oh yeah.
I feel like
it's awesome.
I feel like Don is kind of doing a Bobby Heenan type thing when he says stuff or when he gets scared
Absolutely.
of Was it is it Suzuki that he's scared of and he runs or he tries to run?
Yeah.
He will get up off the chair and he'll try to run, and poor Matt's over there like, "Hey, come back here."
How's Matt?
Exactly.
Not Matt. What's his name? Why am I thinking Matt? I always think of his name as Matt. I don't know why that is.
Kevin Kelly.
Oh.
Kevin
That's
Kelly.
funny.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe to me he sounds like a Matt. I don't know why that is. I don't know. But I always think of him as a Matt.
Kevin Kelly and Don Callis do a tremendous job. You know, and partly that's because they call the moves.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is the same thing that JR and Matt Stryker did as well.
Correct.
When they were commentating NJPW.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
But again, you know, the other reason why they do that is because the story, going back to that, the story is being told in the ring, hold for hold. You know.
It is.
So
Exactly.
basically, without realizing it, you're already telling the story just by calling out the moves. You know,
Yeah.
and they're not talking about the next match or the match prior to the one that is currently taking place.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, WWE has this. McMahon has this thing of, if there's a match going on, concentrate on the bigger story that we have for tonight, as opposed to concentrating on what the athletes are doing in the ring. Now, if you're a WWE athlete and you look back at the tape and you realize that Michael Cole and Corey Graves and Jonathan Coachman aren't necessarily calling your match. Instead, they're talking about what happened between, for example, Alicia Fox and Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
Or they're talking about Roman Reigns and insert name here. How do you feel? How do you feel if you're looking at that?
Wouldn't you feel insulted by that? I mean, I would feel insulted by that.
Absolutely. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm busting my butt here, and I'm just
I'm not worthy enough?
overlooked?
Yeah.
That's what's happening here?
Yeah, and that's why I don't like to watch the WWE a whole lot.
No, NXT, you watch NXT, it's a completely different environment.
Oh, yeah.
They call the match.
Yeah.
They call the match. What is so hard about that?
Well, I mean,
does McMahon not realize that
it's well documented that McMahon is a control freak. I mean,
yeah, but does he not realize who is flooding his arenas nowadays? It ain't the casuals, bruh.
He probably doesn't care because he's making money anyway. So why should he care?
Does he even care anymore at this point? Like,
why should he care? He's making money anyway, no matter how you look at it.
People go to his shows wearing New Japan t-shirts.
Again, he probably doesn't care because, hey, they bought the tickets.
Right.
Or got them for free, as Cody had stated.
Isn't he?
And as JD from NY stated.
Wow.
Shout out to JD.
Yep. Shout out to JD.
Awesome stuff with the goon voice, JD.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's funny.
Shout out to JD and the goon voice.
Absolutely.
Go check him out.
Absolutely, man. Good stuff there, and he's a funny guy. I sure as hell am entertained by him. So
yeah,
check him out.
Are you not entertained? Yeah.
So anything else, folks?
But I think you're right, Crystal. Vince has pretty much reached a point where he just doesn't care. He's just like, okay, whatever.
No, because he's earning residual income anyway. So why should he care?
Yeah.
He's sitting back at his house, doing whatever and not caring. Because you know what? They're wearing Bullet Club t-shirts and all this stuff, but you know what? They're the ones who come to the show. They're the ones who buy the food at the concession stands. They're the ones who buy the merch anyway.
Pretty much.
Right.
So why should I care? That's what he's thinking.
And he's not going to care until these core fans finally take back the power and not show up to these arenas, not buy these merchandise, not buy the tickets, not tune in, not subscribe. That's when he'll care. But as long as people keep going to the arenas, keep buying the merchandise, keep subscribing to the network, he's not going to care.
Then
He's going to keep saying, thank you, come again.
Then it'll literally give new meaning to the words, people power!
But with that said, with all that being said, the word right now is that Triple H will be given a massive, I emphasize, massive amount of control in terms of the main shows. Partially because of McMahon's now responsibility with the rebranding of the XFL.
XFL, yeah.
So he's pretty much Triple H is assuming the position. And from what I've known, from what I've read, they're preparing Triple H for this role as we speak.
Yep.
Wow.
So, is this good for the company in terms of the main brand?
We will have to see.
Would Hunter
We'll have to see what happens.
eventually turn the main brand into NXT? I'm not saying branded as NXT, but would it have the same feeling as NXT?
Well, it's one of those where we'll have to see. You know, we can't say yes and we can't say no.
It's okay.
We never know. I mean,
hopefully.
One could think, one could hope, but...
Yeah. We don't know.
That'd be nice.
I really hope so.
Yep.
Because Triple H's view on wrestlers who should be on top is very different than McMahon's. You know, Triple H very much likes the Seth Rollins and Finn Balor's of the world. You know, where
and the Nakamura's.
Yeah, and Shinsuke's, and you know.
I mean, these are the guys that are. This is the future. These are the future of the company. Like, you know, they got, you know, the Finn Balor's and the other guys you just mentioned. They're the future of the company.
And Triple H understands this.
Stuck. He's kind of stuck in the past. I mean, he likes the Randy Ortons and the, you know, things of that nature.
And the John Cena's.
And the John Cena's, you know.
Yeah. You know, they have such a massive superstar in Braun Strowman. He should be champion right now, not Brock.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Braun Strowman
Brock
should
is still champion?
be champion.
Yes. And he shouldn't have to jump through a hoop.
Isn't he a part-timer?
Yeah.
That's another topic in itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go there, shall we? Why?
Go ahead.
Why, to quote The Rock here, why in the blue hell does Brock Lesnar have a Legends contract?
Listen, if you want to talk about legends, I'm going to give you a list of names. You ready?
Shoot.
Shawn Michaels, Undertaker,
Yes.
Chris Jericho, Ric Flair,
Yes.
The Rock,
Yes.
Trish Stratus,
Yes.
Lita.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. Nowhere does it say Brock Lesnar.
Correct. Check. Yes.
Why?
Brock Lesnar could be a legend one day.
Why are they all legends, bro? Why are they all legends, Crystal? Why are they all legends, Austin? Why? Because they paid their dues.
They paid their dues they established their legacies. They solidified themselves as such. Brock's first run in WWE was 2 years. 2 years. 1, 2. Enough time to get potty trained. That's it. That's the extent of his first run in WWE.
You ready for the argument?
Wow.
Oh, but what about Ohio Valley Wrestling?
Man.
No, I wasn't imitating JD there.
That's developmental. That doesn't need to be. That's development. Yeah. That's like saying, oh, well, that's the equivalent of Tim Tebow playing minor league baseball. That doesn't count.
Wow.
That's a whole different story too. Don't get me started on
Wow.
Stick him in a wrestling match, huh? Anyway.
But Brock Lesnar's first run in WWE, basically 2 years. I mean, basically, he got potty trained. He went through his infancy stage. He got potty trained, then he left. Then he came back some years later, and he gets a Legends contract.
Yeah.
He wasn't even a legend when he left.
If I'm a wrestler, if I'm a legend.
Oh wait!
If I'm Rick,
wait! I'm
yeah,
that's right. Yeah, that's right. He was legendary for breaking the ring with the Big Show. The first that's what made him a legend, right?
That's it.
That's his claim to legend. Status?
I would be so insulted if I were somebody like Rick or
like Ric Flair or The Rock or Undertaker
or The Rock or Undertaker or even Trish and Lita. I would be insulted.
And Steve Austin. Forgot to.
And Steve Austin. Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, even Hulk Hogan. As much as I find him to be overrated as a face, I like him better as a heel personally. But anyway,
I like him better as
a heel. I do too.
But yes, even Hogan. Hogan and all these other guys. Don't insult them like that.
Yeah.
No.
Brock's no.
I mean, the way they ended Taker's streak was totally ridiculous. Brock Lesnar, who basically a part-timer, was the one who ended it. What the hell was that?
A part-timer who, by the way, had nothing to gain in beating The Undertaker because legend or not, he was already solidified.
Yeah, he was already solidified as a superstar.
And
he was already a superstar. So he had nothing to gain from beating from ending the streak. Nothing to gain there.
Wow.
You know who you give that victory to? Give that victory to a Seth Rollins. You give that victory to a what's his face? Oh my God, I just mentioned him a couple of minutes ago.
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor. And I even dare say, hold on to this. Hope you guys are sitting down. And I know you guys out there are going to give me a lot of heat for this. But I dare say, even Roman Reigns.
I was just going to say that.
Well, here's another one.
Roman Reigns beating The Undertaker. Roman Reigns beating The Undertaker last year, a little too late.
Here's another one to throw at you. What about
that? Should have been the ending streak. That should have that should have been it.
Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
What about Kevin Owens to end the streak?
Yeah. Well, that's a great one, actually.
That's a guy that they could have launched.
That guy's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah,
he's great. He's great in the ring, and he's great on the bike.
Yeah.
What am I missing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now I'm not saying that he's like Stone Cold, but he kind of could have been an image of him in terms of I do whatever the hell I want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going against authority because he has that attitude. He presents that.
Yeah. From the little bit that I've seen of Kevin Owens, that guy, they could have launched him.
You're telling me
they should have launched him a long time ago.
You're telling me.
You know how huge this would have made him had he ended the streak. Roman Reigns. I mean, his mic skills. No.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh. Well, there you go.
But Brock, but Brock.
Yeah.
He's the one that ends the streak.
That's not fair.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not even right.
How has he benefited from that?
Nothing.
You give Roman Reigns. If they had started with Roman Reigns as opposed to Brock, listen, this could have done wonders for the career of Roman Reigns. And say what you want. Say what you want. I'll give Roman Reigns this much. He is a good athlete. He does put you on the edge of your seat, even though you know he's going to win.
Yep.
But he is good at what he does. He's just not good on the mic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why is he not good on the mic? I'll tell you why. Because he's scripted.
Yep.
Get him off the script. Which, by the way, is another good show, guys. Go listen to JD's Off the Script. But for real, get him off the script. Like that segue?
Yeah.
that was good.
Stop giving him these written promos and let him be a natural. Let's see what he can do. McMahon, stop being afraid of your future and let them go.
Yep.
Serious.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
He needs to. Because in a sense, I mean, that's what WWE is going to be.
Wait, what?
I said that's what WWE is going to be in a sense. Is the that's the future of WWE is Roman Reigns, and yeah.
Well, people haven't gravitated towards him.
No, they haven't.
Okay, but why?
I don't think it's going to be the future, but anyway.
Yeah, they haven't gravitated toward him because, like you said, he's scripted. And he's not good on the mic.
Is that it?
Well, what else is there?
There's turning him into a heel.
Yeah, like that's gonna happen.
Well, that should happen.
Yeah, I know. But it's not going to. Because, again, of how it's scripted.
Turning somebody face or heel, I don't think has anything to do with a script. Turning somebody face or heel depends on rather or not, there's different variables that go with it. It's not just a script.
Mm-hmm.
A script doesn't define if you're good or not, but it heavily influences your performance.
Right.
What would happen if you gave The Rock a script? What happened if you gave Austin a script? What happened if you gave Jericho a script? How would they sound?
It'd be different.
It would be different.
Yeah. It's like they scripted New Japan, for goodness sake.
Yeah, that's a great example.
You know? That's what I just thought about.
It would be different if they did that.
That's another reason that I personally can't watch WWE for the most part, because then it becomes predictable, pretty much. At least it does to me, because you're like, okay, you kind of start to figure people out a little bit.
There are 4 people. No, scratch that. There are 6 people in WWE that I enjoy watching. No, scratch that. 7. Asuka. Shinsuke Nakamura. AJ Styles. Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn. What's his name? Elias Samson. I think he's awesome.
He is.
Yeah, he's cool.
And Braun Strowman.
Yep.
But I absolutely enjoy watching Elias Samson. I mean, he gets on that guitar and then does his little thing, and his interaction with the fans. This guy's supposed to be a heel, but they love him. He could say the most insulting thing to their hometown, wherever they're at the moment. They'll boo him, but he'll get them cheering for him again.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
And that's what's great about Elias.
Yeah.
You know, but not
Definitely.
everyone in WWE has the luxury of saying, you know what, my promos aren't written from page 1 to page whatever. And that's the problem.
Right.
Yeah, but when you try to script every word of what, it's not going to come out right. It's just going to come out too forced, too artificial, too.
It is. You know,
That's the problem.
I was just telling them, Ness, I was just asking them what would happen if, say, Austin, Chris Jericho, or The Rock were scripted.
It would be bad. It just wouldn't be right.
It would be.
Like we saw those guys. It was it just flowed so naturally. I mean, they were naturals.
And that's key. You know. And I was also talking about Roman Reigns, you know, and how he should have been the one to end Undertaker's streak.
Right.
You know, and if you were to compare him to Brock, yeah, Roman Reigns any day. You know,
Yeah, Roman Reigns is the up and comer. It would have made more sense.
Say
Roman Reigns is
say what you want about him. His in-ring is really good. I want to make that clear. His in-ring is really good. His psychology is really good. He's just not good on the mic. And it's not his fault.
No, because that promo that he cut with John Cena, that was awesome.
Okay? It's not his fault. He's just so heavily scripted. You know, if you turned him heel, you took away the script, I go back to the night after WrestleMania when he beat The Undertaker. He came out there. Let me tell you something. For what seemed to be an eternity, the audience, they were chanting a whole bunch of different things at him, some of which I won't repeat here. This went on, and every time Reigns would pick up the mic to speak, every time he would turn to address the audience, they'd get louder and chant something different. Till finally Roman Reigns got hold of that mic and said, "This is my yard now," and dropped the mic.
Enough said. Enough said.
That was it. That was all he said.
I said perfect. Perfect.
And that's
And
the
I
thing.
thought
Like,
that we're going to
with
have him roll with that sort of attitude, kind of in between a face and a heel. Because that would even work for him.
Yeah.
But no.
For sure it would.
They still have him squeaky clean. Oh, I don't care if the fans boo me. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. In real life, anybody would care if they got booed.
Boo! 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 Oh.
Right?
Anybody in real life would care if they got booed.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
You get booed.
It's unrealistic to think otherwise. Like, come on now.
You get booed. It's gonna make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Look at what they did with The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had him coming out smiling all the time, and you know, Rocky Maivia, blah blah blah, till he finally got on the mic and said, "I'm not the one who sucks. You're the one that sucks. You guys say die, Rocky, die. Why don't all of you die? And you can all kiss The Rock's, you know."
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's the moment that made The Rock. And you know what happened? They basically told The Rock, go out there and give him hell. Back then, the way that it worked was you were giving an outline, footnotes of what you were going to address that night. And that's it. The words that you were going to come up with, the cadence in which you were going to speak with, the tone, that was completely up to you, so long as you followed the outline of your promo. Now they give you a script that reads, I want to talk about insert name here. I want to let him know that he is stupid.
Again, this is not... this is the reason why that doesn't work. Okay, they brought in the Hollywood writers, which was a big mistake. Hollywood writers are not used to writing scripts like this, in this format. That's not what they do. They write movie scripts. They write pilots for sitcoms. They write plays. They do not write week after week after week of scripts of this magnitude. That's not what they do.
And people have to stop with this idea of, oh, then why don't they let the wrestlers this? No, because giving wrestlers creative control is a big mistake as well. You don't give wrestlers creative control of their characters. You could give them some creative
of their
control.
Character.
You could give them some creative control, but ultimately, you need people, you need writers who first and foremost understand a wrestling format, who understand wrestling booking.
And Hollywood writers do not understand that. Hollywood writers do not. That's not the kind of writing they do. They write, as I said before, they write movie scripts, sitcom scripts, they write plays. They do not write storylines for wrestling. That's not what they do. And these people are not actors.
And what also makes this different is this isn't like a play where you rehearse your promos for months on end. This isn't like a movie where you do take after take after take if you mess up. This is on the spot, man.
Yep.
It is right there. You get no
seconds. That's why they need people who understand the format of wrestling and who's just going to give them an outline of what their promo is going to be. Boom, these are the points we want you to cover. Boom, boom, boom. All right, roll with it.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's it. And then just let them go.
Yep.
It's supposed to be a collective effort between the writers and the wrestlers.
Correct.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's it.
You know, if I'm a writer, I come to Mo. I say, all right, here's the outline of what you're going to cover tonight. Boom, 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 boom. There you go.
Okay, let's see.
What you say, that's up. You take it from there.
Okay, so what you're outlining here is you want me to talk about last night's interference, how I feel about that.
Yes.
You want me to talk about being out of contention for the title, and wanting to insert myself into the elimination chamber.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Those are your bullet points.
Got it. That's how it worked.
Yeah.
That's it. And then the wrestler takes it from there and knocks it out the park.
Exactly.
That's the way it works.
Yep.
You know what happened last night? Let me tell you guys, that was a damn tragedy. There is absolutely no honor, in insert name here, winning the way that they did, and now McMahon wants to tell me that I'm out of the picture? I am out of the picture after I busted my ass time and time again for you guys?
What?
After I've come out here, sweat, blood, and tears, sacrificing myself away from my family, away from my loved ones, and this is the respect that I get from you, and this is the respect that I get from each and every one of you sitting out there?
What?
How would it have been if I were reading something?
really, really bad.
Horrible.
Really bad.
Because as you just said, there's no months of rehearsal. There's no take after take after take for this.
Correct.
Monday night, boom, right on the spot. Tuesday night, live SmackDown, on the spot.
Exactly.
That's how it
No
works.
having to remember word for word what it says on that piece of paper. Here's your footnotes.
Here's your
Follow
outline.
that. Follow those
here's your
guidelines,
points.
and you're fine.
Yep. Your promo is going to consist of this, this, and this. Boom. Take it from there. That's it.
And if you were
It's supposed to
doing
be
a
a
joint
collaborative. It's
promo
supposed to
with
be a
somebody,
collaborative effort.
and if you were doing a joint promo with somebody, they even let you have creative freedom to a certain extent. You know, for example, a wrestler would go up to another one and be like, "Hey, bro, listen, this is what my promo, this is what I'm supposed to follow, but tell you what if I put a little spin on this, and what if I take a little jab at your family or something like that? What do you say?"
Well, this is what we in the theater business call improvisation.
Oh, God.
Are you trying to be
Next
smart?
thing I know, they're gonna probably get Andrew Lloyd Webber in there.
Oh my lord!
But
no.
that's.
Well,
But it's supposed to be a collaborative effort between wrestler and writer. You know.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are not actors. This isn't a movie. This is sports entertainment.
Exactly.
Point is, the first word to that phrase is sports. This is supposed to be a sport. These are athletes.
Exactly.
These aren't actors.
Ba-da,
These are
ba-da,
athletes.
ba.
But because it's considered sports entertainment, they're viewed more as performers.
And for these reasons and many more, because New Japan doesn't deal with half or most or all of the things that WWE deals with, because they don't produce the crap that WWE does, and I'm only talking about the main roster, because everything that isn't important in WWE is important in New Japan and Ring of Honor and every other wrestling company out there, that's why they're better.
yep.
Anybody got any final words to conclude this beautiful podcast?
No.
Austin
Yes.
gave us a no.
No.
Crystal, you got anything?
NJPW rules and WWE doesn't.
The NJPW
Yeah.
rules and does
NJPW
And that's
awesome.
the bottom line, because I
And
said
that's-
And
Wow,
my
good.
last
You
word
even said
is...
it in Texan.
I did, yes.
Yeah. Way to go. Way to
I did.
represent Texas. Good job. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Good job.
Shout out to Texas.
Thank you.
Well, my last word is for one last time to cap off the 2017 year. EAGLES, Eagles!
Oh, no.
You should have muted him.
That's what we do. That's what we do here. Yeah.
With that
No.
said, folks, this has been
Oh, no.
another episode of Sports Vista here on the NT Hooligans. I hope you guys have enjoyed this presentation of our show. We'll be back with more content and more gameplays. Please be sure to thumbs up, give us a like, share our page, go on our social media sites, and keep us locked and hit that bell. That way you always know what we're up to here at ANT Hooligans.
Y para español, preta el número 2.
Oh, shut up!
Hey,
ANT Hooligans, I'm Baby Maury. He's Ness.
I'm Ness.
He's Crystal. He's Austin. We are hooligans. You are hooligans. We are all gooligans. And with that, I say to you guys, enjoy the music. Have a nice rest of the
God bless
day.
y'all.
Enjoy the Olympics. I hope they fight again.
Wait, that was
Oh,
a
yeah.
good
I'm talking about what
And-
happened in
and-
hockey.
And one more thing. And one more thing.
Nice. Yeah.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
God bless y'all.